She'll never amount to anything. The cutting words, Aunt Carol's voice echoing across the crowded funeral luncheon. Held at the VFW hall, the scent of stale beer and lilies hung heavy. My stomach dropped as all eyes seemingly landed on me. My hands trembled. Mom, arm in arm with him, didn't even flinch. Inside, I was screaming. Outside, I remained composed. Then a text. Trust confirmed. Happy birthday. Ever felt invisible? Or worse, belittled. Stick around because this is just the beginning. The ultimate glow-up is coming. Subscribe to see how it all unfolds. Trust me, the payback is delicious. August 14, 2022. Dad's funeral, the day everything shifted. Christmas that year offered a stark contrast. While Tom gifted Chloe a brand new car, a cherry red Mustang that practically screamed teenage rebellion, I received a chipped coffee mug from a dollar store. It's the thought that counts, Lisa chirped, but her eyes held no warmth, only a dismissive glaze. The Mustang gleamed under the fairy lights while my chipped mug sat alone on the counter. I saw it as a symbol of our diverging paths, a testament to where I stood in their new family equation. Outside, spring break amplified the disparity. Lisa and Tom whisked Chloe away to Cancun, posting sun-drenched photos of turquoise waters and endless buffets. I stayed behind, confined to the garage room, the faint scent of motor oil clinging to the air. Lisa's only instruction before she left was, make sure you keep the house clean. You're lucky you have a place to stay. I kept the house clean, but also meticulously copied Dad's journals, uncovering more evidence of Tom's long-term presence in their lives. Each page turn felt like a fresh stab, confirming my suspicions. The betrayal was a bitter pill to swallow. The final straw came during my 19th birthday dinner. Tom proposed to Lisa, right in front of me, presenting her with a ring that had obviously been intended for my mother. We're so happy to share this moment with you, Emily, Lisa gushed, oblivious to the tears welling in my eyes. My silence was interpreted as sullenness. Later, Lisa confronted me. Why can't you ever be happy for us? You're ruining everything. I simply stared at her, the weight of my secret burning like a coal in my chest. That night, I made my decision. I would play their game, only better. I would be happy for them, so happy in fact that they would choke on it. The silence was no longer a burden but a shield, a weapon. Over the next year, I immersed myself in real estate classes. Weekends spent poring over property law and investment strategies replaced aimless social gatherings. Lisa, oblivious, dismissed my efforts. Another one of Emily's little hobbies, I overheard her say to Tom. The dismissal fueled me. The more they underestimated me, the more I learned, the stronger I became. I devoured knowledge like a starving person, absorbing every detail, every nuance of the business. The real estate market became my obsession. It wasn't easy living in the garage room, and I still have nightmares about that space. The single window offered a view of the garbage cans, and the air always smelled of dust and damp concrete. The only light came from a bare bulb hanging precariously from the ceiling. No warmth, no comfort, no escape. It was a daily reminder of my powerlessness, and I used it as fuel to push myself harder. Then came the moment. I walked into that house, eviction notice in hand. Lisa stared at me, eyes wide with disbelief. "What is this?" she stammered, her voice trembling. Tom's face flushed crimson, his fists clenched. "You wouldn't dare," he growled, stepping towards me. His aggression was no longer intimidating but predictable. I was not the same naive girl they had known. I have new resolve, new purpose, and new resolve to protect what was rightfully mine. 30 days, I said, my voice steady, unwavering. You have 30 days to vacate the premises. The silence that followed was deafening, broken only by Chloe's gasps. The revelation hung in the air, a heavy, suffocating cloud. The game had changed and I was the one in control. Weeks bled into months, the legal dust settling. An invitation arrived Thanksgiving at Aunt Carol's. The cardstock felt thick, almost mocking. I hadn't spoken to most of them since. The eviction. Internal conflict raged. Go or don't go, show them, or stay away. Strategically, I prepared. A new dress, understated elegance, a calculated calm. I decided to attend. The scent of roasting turkey and simmering resentment filled Carol's over-decorated living room. Emily, dear, you look, well, her tone dripped with feigned sweetness. I nodded, taking in the scene. Chloe, pale and withdrawn, sat in a corner. Lisa, noticeably thinner, clung to Tom's arm. Status, precarious. The air crackled with unspoken accusations and forced smiles. "So Emily," Uncle Mark boomed, his voice too loud. "Heard you're quite the landlord now." A sneer tugged at his lips. Ignorance was bliss for them, for me it was a weapon. "Just managing my properties," I replied, my voice measured. "Keeping busy." The food tasted like ashes. Every bite felt like a performance. Past me, cowering in the garage room, would have crumbled under the scrutiny. Present me, I savored it. Their discomfort, their veiled curiosity, their utter obliviousness to the empire I was quietly building. This Thanksgiving was not a celebration, but a carefully orchestrated act, a symbol of the power I now held, a power they still didn't fully comprehend. I felt a cold satisfaction as I walked away, leaving them in my dust. "Properties? What properties?" Lisa's voice, sharp and laced with disbelief, cut through the awkward chatter. "My cue." I smiled, a genuine smile that didn't reach my eyes. "Oh, you know," I drawled, pulling a sleek leather-bound folder from my purse. "The ones Dad left me." I opened the folder, revealing a professionally printed document. Specifically this one. I held up a high-resolution photograph of the house, their house, bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun. A collective gasp rippled through the room. Tom's face morphed from smugness to fury. "That's impossible," he sputtered. "We looked into all of this, there's nothing in your name." He started to rise from his seat. My gaze remained steady on Lisa, her face paling with each passing second. "The trust documents were complex. Dad was thorough." I paused, letting the weight of my words sink in. "He wanted to ensure I was protected." Aunt Carol, ever the opportunist, piped up, "A trust. Well, Emily dear, why didn't you say so? We're family, we could have helped you manage things." She flashed a saccharine smile, her eyes darting to the document in my hand. "I've managed just fine, thank you, Aunt Carol," I said, my voice cool. "In fact, I've been rather successful." I directed my next words to Lisa. "As you know, I own the house. I also own the rental on Elm Street and the warehouse downtown. Not to mention a substantial trust fund." Chloe, who had been silent until now, looked at her mother with a mixture of shock and confusion. "Mom, is this true?" Lisa's carefully constructed facade crumbled. Her voice, now a mere whisper, betrayed her panic. "There must be some mistake." "No mistake, Lisa," I said, closing the folder with a soft thud. The sound echoed in the sudden silence, a definitive punctuation mark on their reign. "The mistake was thinking you could erase my father and steal what was rightfully mine." The power had shifted. Tom slammed his fist on the table, rattling the silverware. "You little brat, you think you can just waltz in here and—" "Careful, Tom," I interrupted, my voice dangerously low. "Remember who owns the roof over your head, or rather, owned." I stood and turned to the room. "Enjoy the rest of your Thanksgiving. I have properties to manage." "Enjoy," Lisa spat, rising to her feet, fury contorting her face. "You think this is something to enjoy, Emily? You're tearing this family apart." "Family?" I echoed, tilting my head. "Funny, I don't remember being invited to your family gatherings when I was sleeping in the garage." The contrast statement hung in the air. Tom lunged forward. "We gave you a place to stay, ungrateful little." I held up a hand, silencing him, my gaze, cold and unwavering, locked with his. "Stay away from me." Inside, a tremor of fear. Outside, an iceberg. Silence was my weapon. I turned back to Lisa. "You evicted me emotionally long before I served you that notice." I paused, letting the words sink in. "Now, if you'll excuse me." I turned towards the door. "Emily, please." Chloe's voice, laced with genuine sorrow, stopped me. She was the only one who really seemed to see the human cost. "Can't we talk about this?" I hesitated, then shook my head. "There's nothing to talk about, Chloe. The decisions have been made." My own strategic power move. "Maybe, someday." Then, a memorable one-liner, encapsulating my triumph. "Consider this my thank you for the Mustang." I walked out, leaving them in the ruins of their Thanksgiving and their shattered reality. Later, a text from Aunt Carol. "Darling, can we meet? I have some investment opportunities I think you'd find interesting." Manipulation attempt detected. My response? A single, carefully chosen emoji, a smiling face with sunglasses. The new reality was not just about owning properties, it was about owning myself. The true victory, however, lay not in the eviction, but in the quiet control I wielded over something far more fundamental: Chloe's future. Lisa, blinded by greed and infatuation, had leveraged Chloe's college fund to prop up her failing boutique, a fact Daniel had discovered shortly before his death and meticulously documented. A business he'd warned her away from. The fund, a 529 plan carefully cultivated over years, was now a shadow of its former self, depleted and teetering on the brink of collapse. What Lisa didn't know, what no one knew, was that Dad, anticipating her recklessness, had secretly established a second, parallel 529 plan for Chloe, naming me as the custodian. A legal safeguard against Lisa's incompetence. As I reached the door, I paused, turning back to face the stunned gathering. My voice, amplified by the sudden silence, carried a chilling calm. "Oh, and Lisa," I said, my gaze locking with hers. Her face was a mask of bewildered anger. "I almost forgot. I'll be in touch regarding Chloe's college fund. I believe there are some irregularities that need to be addressed." I watched her face drop. Tom swore under his breath, but Lisa remained frozen, the realization dawning that her financial misdeeds were about to be exposed. I turned and left, the sweet taste of ultimate victory lingering on my tongue. This Thanksgiving, I thought, was indeed something to savor. Years passed, a tapestry woven with hard work and healing. Lisa and Aunt Carol's calls went unanswered, their pleas for forgiveness and financial assistance met with silence. Chloe, however, I responded. There was potential in her, a chance to break free from the toxicity of her family. I helped her rebuild her college fund and steered her toward a path of independence. My Seattle condo, overlooking Puget Sound, felt a world away from the garage room. I found joy in simple things: hiking in the Cascades, attending art galleries, and fostering rescue dogs. I was free from the suffocating weight of their expectations. Physical changes reflected my newfound strength. I stopped biting my nails. My posture was straighter. I smiled. Reflecting, I understood that revenge wasn't about inflicting pain but about reclaiming agency. The power wasn't in the money, but in knowing my worth, something they could never take away. In the end, they lost me. Now I am free. Right, feels good, doesn't it? You ready to write your story? Don't just dream it, do it. Share if you know someone who needs this. Go build your empire.